Linus video.
Nintendo
Since they're banning TikTok, are you going to search
shocking
for a
amount
real
of time
job?
and energy antagonizing the gaming community.
Bean game.
And yet, I bought a Wii, I bought a Wii U, I bought a Switch, I bought an OLED Switch, and I'm gonna buy a Switch
is a
too.
multi-stage
Why?
aerobic capacity.
Because nobody does what Nintendo.
Okay, chat, yeah, this is the hot take, chat. People will hate me for this sake, okay? People will hate me for this sake. They'll hate me. Nintendo, they make a product as an A or B, and they want people to use a product as a product. And when people use a console, they have to agree to a bunch of stuff, right? They have to agree to a bunch of stuff, and it just, that's what they want. And when people go off the track, they don't like it. But you agreed when you bought it to not do all that shit. So, I mean, they're within their rights to think like that.
I bought a Wii, I bought a Wii U, I bought a Switch, I bought an OLED Switch, and I'm gonna buy a Switch too. Why? Because nobody does what Nintendo do. I mean, who else could tease an upcoming console with the performance of a 1.5 generation old competing machine, and yet have the community say, sounds great, because the games for it are going to rock. Speaking of community scuttlebutt, this may be the most leaked Nintendo hardware ever. And on top of the official announcement, there is a lot more that we know, or at least mostly know, that makes us pretty excited about the Switch 2. Let's begin the adventure of sorting through it all.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
No way. Did we get a Switch 2 early? Of course. It's our sponsor, D-Brand. The Nintendo gave us a mere 2-minute, 22-second tour of their attempt number 2 at a hybrid console. But while at first glance you might think it was pretty light on the details, the keen-eyed have been gleaning a ton of info. Let's start with the good news. Given Nintendo's track record of following up their most successful launches with hyper-confusingly named successors.
Huh? Wait, the DS did bad? I thought the DS did really good. Oh, it's the old, and yeah, the 3DS is a piece of shit. I agree.
Simple 2 on the end of the name feels like a pretty smart move,
shit.
Especially given that the vision for the Switch 2 seems to be remarkably similar to the original, just in a substantially larger package that actually looks old.
I bought a DS. My DS lasted so long, I outlived the 3DS and the DS Lite with my old DS first generation. I still have my first generation DS I bought my DS on the day of release, okay? I put all my money together from dealing the papers, and I was ready. It was I think it was $220 at the time. Put all my money together. It wasn't a midnight launch. It was a noon launch, something like that. It wasn't even at 8 a.m. It was at noon. So I go to the Toys R Us at the time. I buy my DS. I still have the game. It came with a demo of Metroid, and I bought it with Nintendo Dogs, and I still have it, and it still runs. That thing outlived both new generations, and the new ones were shit. There was only to buy a Lite or buy a 2DS. They were shit.
A lot like the handheld gaming PCs that seem to have prodded Nintendo into action here. But don't kid yourself. The plain black exterior is packed with subtle Nintendo charm and refinements, like a better kickstand, a new dock, and 2 USB-C ports, meaning better ergonomics while charging, and better support for multiple accessories without needing a dongle. All without sacrificing the headphone jack. Now that is courage. The new Joy-Cons also look great. The magnetic mounting mechanism looks way less finicky than the previous sliding one.
Yeah. I'd say it's the first time, chat, but yeah.
Also look great. The magnetic mounting mechanism.
I don't want to be a hater, chat, but oof.
Looks way less finicky than the previous sliding one. And, thank goodness, they are slightly larger for those of us who aren't literal children, but still enjoy Mario Party.
It's rubber.
Both Joy-Cons appear to have infrared sensors this time, and we've seen speculation that this strange hole on the controller rail may actually be for a laser for mouse functionality. For a brief moment, the Joy-Cons were moving all mouse-like here, which maybe confirms the leaks from a few weeks ago. I don't know. Personally, I think it's more likely that it'll slot into like a cardboard cheese grater. That sounds
kind of fun, though. Whoa! What if you're playing a game about cooking, and then you have to slice the things or peel the potatoes? That sounds kind of fun. That sounds kind of fun.
Game or something, but who knows with Nintendo. Now, exclusive to the right Joy-Con is the mysterious C button. Its exclusion from the left Joy-Con leads us to believe that it controls some kind of function in handheld mode. On past Nintendo controllers, C often meant camera, but it could also be chat, or capture, or a connect button for wirelessly streaming games to your dock, like the Wii U. Okay, that one is speculation on our part, and besides, the only C that I care about is backwards compatibility. That's right, baby! You get to play your OG Switch games, both physical and digital, on your brand new machine.
Oh, well, no
now,
shit,
there
what?
will be some exceptions. Probably the ones with the weird peripheral requirements. But even so, this is fantastic news because there is a ginormous library of amazing Switch games, many of which performed like absolute dog shit on the underpowered original console.
Hey.
The only question is,
Hey.
how is Nintendo
Any Dark Souls player chat? Any Dark Souls fucking Switch players? Oh
gonna
man,
roll this out?
that shit is
Personally,
trash.
I'd probably just settle for more consistent frame rates. But I'd also be surprised, given recent industry trends, if we didn't also see next-gen visual updates. But will they be free for Nintendo Online subscribers? Will Nintendo and other devs provide them as paid patches? Or will Nintendo pull a Nintendo and lock these patches behind a full-price remaster, forcing us to rebuy Donkey Kong Country Returns for the 5th time? The last of the good news is that this video unintentionally added credibility to some of the leakers who showed off not only the new shape and Joy-Cons, but also the specs. That's right, while you should always take leaks with at least one grain of
Oh, that actually makes sense.
salt, we're feeling pretty confident that this list will closely reflect the guts of the Switch 2. Let's start with the GMLX30-R-A1 processor. Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? The GMLX30 is an SoC, or system on a chip, that contains the CPU, GPU, memory controller, and the I/O. It's the beating heart of the Switch 2, and from what we know, it appears to be a semi-custom 5nm variant of the originally 8nm NVIDIA Tegra T239 from a couple of years ago. And if that's true, it is going to be a big upgrade. I'm talking 8 tiered ARM cores instead of just 3, and a shockingly potent sounding GPU that uses NVIDIA's Ampere architecture, like the GeForce 3000 series, with 1,536 CUDA cores, 12 streaming multiprocessors, and maybe even other features, such as an optical flow accelerator for frame generation, and 8th gen NVENC video encoding, which could add some weight to our hypothesis about the wireless video streaming. Now, as for other big NVIDIA features, there is no official
NVENC,
confirmation
I use
that
that.
Nintendo will implement support for DLSS AI accelerated upscaling. But you mark my words here, guys. If the Switch 2 doesn't have some form of AI upscaling, I will buy and eat an entire box of this Super Mario cereal with Mountain Dew as the milk live on Wanshow. It's gonna happen. Rumors also point to the presence of 48 Gen 3 tensor cores and 2 ray tracing ones, but I'm not eating anything if I'm wrong on those ones. We're a lot more certain though about the RAM. It looks like we're gonna get 12 gigs of LPDDR5X memory clocked at 7,500 megatransfers per second. That is a big upgrade from the 4 gigs we had before at up to 1,600 megatransfers per second. It comes with 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 flash storage rated at 2,100 megabytes per second. Not sure if that's reads or writes. And it looks like it will be expandable
38
using
years
micro
old and
SD
has been
Express,
subbing for
which is
56
fantastic. It also has support for HDMI 2.1, although truthfully, on a Nintendo console, I'm a little less interested in high resolutions and frame rates, and I'm a little more interested in support for variable refresh rate, which goes a long way towards smoothing out games that are running at sub 60 FPS. And it should also help improve power consumption in handheld mode. And I hear what you're thinking, guys. Cool specs, bro. Like your cool, well-fitting brand t-shirts on
I still don't know much about the console.
But what do the
even though I
specs mean?
watched the whole video.
Well, when Digital Foundry did their performance projection based on the T239, what they projected was base PS4 graphics performance augmented with modern GPU features and solid ray tracing support. And given that that lines up well with claims from Bobby Kotick,
Hold on, I need to join voice on this. Hold on. Guys. Sorry, my Rebels teammates are fucking talking shit.
former CEO of Activision Blizzard, who honestly I wish we didn't have to mention at all, we're fairly confident that that's where we're gonna land. Not mind-blowing for a home console, but pretty exciting for a handheld console, especially one from Nintendo. Especially if you look at Nintendo's track record of delivering exceptional visuals on extremely limited hardware. Like, I can't wait to see what they can pull off on this thing. Speaking of games, the only game shown was presumably a new Mario Kart with possibly support for 24 players, if the starting lines are anything to go by. And all I can say about that is, it's about bloody time! I mean, last time Nintendo released a new numbered Mario Kart, Luke still lived in the basement at our Langley House studio. Outside of the video, we have 3 other games confirmed for next-gen Nintendo platform releases, but after that, we are deep into Speculationsville. The last new 3D Mario game was 8 years ago, so we may see one of those. The new Pokemon Legends and Xenoblade are due this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they lined up with the console launch.
What about a crazy mix, chat? Super Mario, Hyper Mario. It's a mix of Super Mario, the 2D, the 3D, the Galaxy, the new one. Hold on. The Mario Paper, the Mario, the Mario Partners in Time, all
Metroid
together.
Prime 4 is supposed to come out at
4D.
some point, so Switch 2.
In the middle of the game, you gotta
For
go.
any degree of certainty,
Can I
we'll
get
need
a
to wait
welcome
until
to the
April.
jungle?
But seeing as the Switch 1 had arguably the best
I am
launch
all in on
window
Maggot
in
and
console
Ninja
history,
Chain.
and given that Nintendo clearly hasn't rushed this launch, I'm hopeful that Nintendo can deliver another explosive start to the new generation. As excited as we all are about the first-party titles, though, only time's gonna tell if Nintendo's
Why are we
ecosystem
still
will
here?
continue to attract third-party developers. The Switch relied
Super Mario
heavily on its
Galaxy
enormous
3 would
install
be their
base to
best
incentivize
bet.
high-effort ports. And there's no guarantee that, especially given that some games are clearly gonna be cross-compatible, the Switch 2 is gonna sell in such quantities. But on the other hand, developers probably won't need to run their games at sub 540p resolutions
GTA
anymore.
6
And
Switch 2
Microsoft has made no secret of their ambitions to grow their software share on other platforms. And for that matter, we've seen hints from Square Enix that
XQCL.
former Sony exclusives like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth could find a new home at Big Red. In spite of all this,
It's gonna
however,
lag you.
I doubt the Switch 2 will see the same kind of historic success as the original. First up, it remains to be seen if the performance jump
Anyway, chat, I'll probably do maybe a more reaction shit like that. Also, I want to watch a new Ewu. Probably will watch it later. Chat, guys, I don't want to guys. I took all my Twitch rivals we've been playing, chat, like Elden Ring, whatever. I did